Yes, of course, that makes sense. Right, if you put your hands on the wheel, that left button this time down there, if you press that, you get. So that's the autopilot off. And I'd like you to start a. Let me put the legs up. Yeah, so we're going to descend. We're going to make this up a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to descend now, following the line down to about 9,000 feet. Basically, I'm going to try and not let you hit too much.
It's appreciated.
So we're dropping down here because it's trying to pick up. The airport's actually down in that valley that's just disappearing down there.
Okay.
I would expect we'll get some weather, and the trick is I'm trying to get you to descend on the weather. I don't want you to have to fly in cloud for too long. Bit of a guinea pig on this one. I've not done it like this before, but if it works well, I'll stick it into the repertoire because I think it will get a little bit challenging as we get in there. That's the plan, anyway.
And might as well make it interesting.
Might as well. So descent's looking very nice. So you can't quite see it yet amongst all of the snow, but the runway is actually out here on this little patch of land that extends out into the bow on the river. So I've got you descending into runway 26, and the 26, as I'm sure you know, is just the magnetic heading of the runway.
Yeah.
But I don't want that. I'm going to make us fly over the top of it, down the valley, and then turn around and come back and land on 08. Because what they've got is, for when the visual conditions are good enough, further up the valley there's a basin which just wide enough to get the aircraft round. Cool. So we'll have to judge our heights reasonably well. And I'm not bothering with the deceleration at the moment because I better do it on the outbound leg, so I'm letting it fly down fairly speedily. So I reckon you've done enough flying on the instruments, so we'll take that off then, shall we?
Okay.
Now you can actually see the runway, there's that black line has appeared.
Yeah.
We're too high, but that's deliberate.
Yeah.
So your job, get you down to 9,000 feet. And you get a lovely descent at the moment, and hold it at 9, and then we'll fly over the top of the runway, and it'll be a gentle turn to the right to get over to the right hand side of the valley and just fly over the right hand side of the river. Oh, look at that, there's a cloud bank coming. What a bugger. So let me take the heading out of the way for you, and we know that there's nothing ahead of us that we need to worry about, but you might say, well, supposing I get blown off course, I'd like some terrain information, so I will turn the terrain radar on for you. Now, as we start to get lower and lower, at the moment it's saying it's there, but it's not a collision risk. As they become a collision risk, they'll go to amber and then finally red. So your screen is going to start to fill up. And just to make life interesting, I'm going to continue to descend to 8,000 feet, please. The little horn you hear going in the background is just telling you when you're just straying or outside of your capture, or you're just about to capture it. I think I should know this. I think it goes off at 100 feet either side. I'll watch it this time too. should do this. You should go and do your instructor's course so you can get through it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember why I love this so much actually last time.
Just changing this scale.
Sure.
Just because you've got to be very aware now of staying on that line because all of the hazards around here on the right. And whilst you're beavering away there, I'm about to clutter at your display because I'm just thinking of something else I can put in that would be good. Where are we? Lowy. So in case we miss the airport, I'm going to give it a bigger reference. I'm going to put the fix in. So there's a splodge going in. And now I'm going to put some range rings in, which I'll explain in a second. Now, so there's the airport we're heading for, and there's a range ring at 3, 6 and 9 miles. And the importance of those are, back it off a little bit, we need 1,000 feet. So the airport's at 1,800 feet, so at 3 miles we want to be at 2,800 feet, at 6 miles 3.8 and 9 miles 4.8. So that will help us manage the descent, because I've turned everything else off.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn, I mean the ILS we're using is now useless anyway, because we're over the top of the airport. I'm going to clear the route. We're vigilant enough, aren't we? The weather gods are being kind to you at the moment. 8,000, yeah. 2, 8, 3, 4, 8.
So we're just looking at how close that mountain looks.
Yeah, yeah, the passengers would be thinking that as well. Okay, so we need to get over to the right hand side of the river. You can't see it yet, but up in that cloud's a rather big mountain.
Okay.
And I'm going to get you to fly, scraping your right wingtip along the mountain, because the basin will open out and we're going to do a left hand turn.
Sure.
So just get over towards the right as you are. Keep at 8,000. Just going to start about thinking slowing the aircraft up. So flap 1 gone in. And I dial the speed down to flap 1, which is 180 knots. And Innsbruck's a shortish runway, so I'm going to select us a 40 degrees of flap for the landing. There's the mountains turned up. Now you're going to fly, wrong one, close to this one, but we're going to aim at that one.
Okay.
So keep a nice banana going, so you scrape your wingtip around the first one. And flap 5 going, and speed bug for 5, check. Yes, I'm doing both sides of the
That's
store.
fair, no, that's cool.
Makes you think I'm talking to myself. happens here, there's a sort of basin here just as we
okay.
get past that mountain, and that's where we're going to do the turn. Change the scale on this so you can at least see where the airport is behind you.
Yeah.
And once we've done the turn, we'll get the plane configured with gear down, flap 15 and then 30. Nice way out to give you a nice chance, because I'll get you to fly looking out the window this time.
Sure.
I'll give you advice on heights. But it'd be nice to just get your landing completely visually. Schnitzel for dinner after this.
Sorry?
I'd like to have schnitzel for dinner after this. Get on the glue vine. Okay, so you got this peak that you're coming along. This is perfect. Once you get to where this saddle is, that little dip between the peaks, that's where you can start your left-hand turn.
Alright then.
Watch out for your nose drop in the turn.
Still keeping 8,000, yeah.
You can let it come down to 7, but most people, given this situation, because I'm asking for a max bank turn, let it fall out the sky at this
Okay,
point.
right, yeah.
I've got no issue with 1,000 feet in the turn, but no more than that.
Sure.
I'll stick the marker at 7,
Okay.
because you'll probably bring it out bang on, knowing you. Okay, and your max bank is these big lines here on the
Okay,
top.
gotcha.
So you'll,
Yeah. It's about now.
yeah. So that's 10. That's 20. Keep rolling, keep rolling. Go all the way to 30. Keep going. Keep going. There she goes. Here comes your nose drop, so just watch out for that. And you can see there's an awful lot of terrain ahead of you coming up. It's got red on here, but don't worry, we're going to turn inside that. Watch your descent there. Here comes 7,000 feet. Okay, gear down please. Bug 15. Bug 15. Set. And we can descend to 6,000 please. And 5,000 already. Now, come over to the right, and we've still got visuals to find, so come over to the right hand side of the valley. We're going to drop below the peaks, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we want to be flying down the right hand side. I don't think you're going to lose visibility. Change the scale there. So we're about 2 miles away from 9,000. We really want 4.8, so the descent is bang on. 18,283, yeah, just checking the maths. And you can't see it yet, but the runway is just round the corner where we lose sight of the river there. Keep over to the right. You're going to fly right down the right hand side, and there's a sort of plateau over there. We're going to fly over that,
Yeah.
and then down to the runway. And because there's a plateau, you've got a radar, downward looking radar, that's giving you height information. So it will call 1,000 feet, but it's going to call it too high. It's calling it because you're 1,000 feet above the plateau.
Yeah,
It will then call it again, or we should do when we get closer to the runway. So 4.8, no lower than that, that's good. We're just at 9 miles. So stabilise it there, and I'm going to dial in 3.8, but we've got another 3 miles to do before we need to lose all of that height. So keep it descending at about 800 feet a minute. So you're climbing at the moment. Let's get rid of that. We really don't want the height. So bang the nose down, bang it down, bang it down. That'll give you 30 degrees of flat. There's an unfortunate little climb there. Because what happens is we've got potential energy, and then as it loses it, it turns it kinetic, and that means that we end up a little bit fast. Looking good. Keep losing that height. A little bit high for what we want. It's nice though. Good. Now you can just see the runway turning up, and you can see it's got vases, not pappies there.
Okay.
So that's good. Don't lose any more height. Hold it there. And now that aspect that you've got of how the runway looks, that's what you want to keep. And so now forget all the heights. If you get into trouble, I'm cool. Just do a lovely curving final approach and just fly it right down to the end of the runway. There's a river on this near end.
Yeah.
Try and land nearly on the river. By the time you put the flare in, you'll get it down there and it will be perfect.
Okay.
So everything's good. The speed, as long as you don't do anything dramatic, will look after itself. All the heights are looking nice, and you're just flying by looking out the window. Let's just gently take her in. Short runway, so we mustn't land long.
Yeah.
And you're going to disconnect the auto throttle at 200 and close the throttle at about 50. I don't mind if you go early. In real life we wouldn't do it, but there's more danger of you going shooting off the end of the runway.
Yeah.
And in real life we close the throttles at 40-30.
500.
Just get a little bit low, just hold it there. That's nice. Gorgeous. Tiny bit low.
500.
Just hold that. Don't try and climb. Just hold it for a second. Got 3 miles to run, and you're about 150 foot low. That's all. So absolutely nothing. That's it. Okay, and now make sure you fly. Now nose down a little bit. Fly down to the river. Get it down. That's it.
500. 400. 300. 200.
Disconnect the throttles.
Approaching minimums. 100.
And close the throttles nice and gently. Back to flying. Fly all the way down.
40. 30.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, it's going to be good.
20. 10.
There you go. Reverse to step on the brakes. Oh, that was really nice. I know you're a tiny bit off the centre line, but throw it through. 60 knots, close your reverse thrust. Love it. Really nice.
Just lost it just at the end there.
Oh, a tiny bit offset, and really, okay, you'd have gone round and done it again, but it was a really nice approach. Yeah, it just needed a tiny chink left, didn't it? But
Yeah.
it's lovely. Yeah,
Awesome.
very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Let's travel up. Well,